Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be talking about a topic that seems complicated at first glance, but it will affect every one of us, and that is inflation. But before you start rolling your eyes, I promise to break it out in the most simple points I can. And the reason I've not been posting the last week is because I was on a trip because it was holiday and Chinese New Year. But now I'm back and I'm gonna post every week as well. And now to my first point, which is the inflation report. So the inflation report came in unexpected to a lot of people, and it's surprising. So core inflation, which is headline inflation, is now at 3.1%, which last month was 3.4%. Yes, it did come down, but the economist was hoping for a 2.9%. So it's higher than what they thought it would be. But why is this significant? Well, it's because it's unexpected, so most people would change their minds about the future course of actions. But what about core inflation, PCE, which is what the Fed and economists want to focus more on? It's at 3.9%. And 3.9% is kind of high, and it's the same as last month. Last month was also 3.9%, which means they has not come down even a little bit. So this is worse because they focused on this one, but this one didn't even make any progress. That also means that the Fed is going to change the course of actions on the monetary policy because it has not come down. And they're not going to just cut rates when no progress was being done, right? And now to my second point, which is the impact on interest rates. So we all know that the Fed actually controls the monetary policy, and in a way, they will use interest rates to control it. The way they do it is that if they lower rates, it means that they're trying to start up an economy, make more money flow happen. Because for example, the economy is going too slow, they want people to borrow more money to use them. Or they would to make it higher. And if they make it higher, it means that they're trying to cool down a very hot economy, example like inflation. Well, because of the recent inflation reports, it's really bad because the plan kind of just started and it's already not working as well. It's not making any progress at all. So at first there was a prediction for the March meeting. The March meeting, they had a 76% chance of lowering rates based on voting and prediction. But now there's only an 8% chance based on voting and prediction. And on the May 1st meeting, they had a 99% chance of lowering rates based on the data last month. But now it's only at 39%, which is why I think, and some few other people think, that the next cut, which is going to be the first cut of this year, might happen in June or July instead. And keep in mind, they're going to cut 3 times this year, which is part of the goals of the Fed to do this year. So it might happen in June or July because a lot of people now think that May might be too early. And even if in the next month, the inflation looks very healthy, the inflation report looks very healthy and very good, it will still not be enough for them to cut rates. So yeah, my thoughts is that March 20th, it's just not gonna happen. May 1st, most probably not gonna happen either. And now to my third point, which is the housing market. So how does this affect the housing market? Well, this affects the housing market because if the interest rate is high, it will be harder to get a loan and harder to pay off mortgage. Therefore, housing buyers or people that wants to buy a house for anything is gonna struggle and try to avoid buying a house when interest rates are elevated. But because of the recent inflation report, it seems like the interest rates is not gonna be coming down anytime until June. The 10-year yield, which is a benchmark for mortgage rates, has now rise to 4.27%. So basically, people are not going to buy houses now, but it's better to lock in the rates sooner than later. And now to my fourth point, which is wage inflation. So this is actually very important because this is kind of what puts them in quite a struggle in this position. So wages is now actually up. So the percentage of inflation for wages is 5.4%. It was 5.3% last month. So this is higher than what the Fed wanted. In fact, it's much higher than what the Fed wanted. Because to put it in perspective, they're aiming for 2%. But now it's 5.4, and it even went upwards instead of going the other way, which is what they want. So now that it's gone upwards, it also means that, well, the actual only way to make it go down is to increase pressure on interest rates. If not, it's not going to go down. It just went up, also meaning that people are adapting. People are adapting a bit too well, in fact. So now, they're trying to prevent another inflation coming. But there is, to keep it real, an election coming up. So do you lower rates? If you lower rates, there's going to be a runaway inflation because the wages are increasing. But if you increase rates in the next election, whatever president is elected, they wouldn't like what you did. So they're kind of in a tough position. So what do they do? Well, of course, we just have to wait and see. While June is around the perfect time to lower rates, it may not be if the inflation report keeps looking like this. And now to my fifth point, which is the Federal Reserve's dilemma. So they're actually in an uncomfortable spot right now because they have to look after inflation, keep prices in check, at the same time considering about the economic landscape and employment, so on. Of course, they could just increase interest rates to make the inflation go down, which would be the more logical action to do. But then they have already concluded they want to cut rates, also because of the upcoming election, which if they increase interest rates and slow down growth in the economy, it would affect more or less on the next election coming up. And well, they are stuck between these two decisions, and it's very hard to balance between something good in the short term and something good in the long term as well. They have to balance both, but it's going to be hard because the election is kind of like a deadline, but yet inflation is not meeting its target. So in conclusion, today's report kind of reminds us of the complex interplay that could happen in just the next report. So every time that somebody say that inflation is very unpredictable, economy is incredibly unpredictable, this is one of its examples, and it's very hard to control whether you're just a regular employee, you're just a regular person who's trying to buy a house. We are all intersected in this one economical problem. So stay informed with me because I'm also trying to learn about the economy as well. And I thank you for your attention. I hope to see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something out of it. I hope you like and subscribe. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.